Boston Celtics introduced their new star core on Friday, with Kyrie Irving serenely taking his place next to Gordon Hayward on the dais. The presser was filled with the usual pomp and circumstance and polite commentary. Danny Ainge refused to answer questions about the process of acquiring Irving and the hold-up over Isaiah Thomas' hip. Irving called the Celtics an illustrious organization, about 4 times, while Hayward said the difference in Boston's fans was how intelligent they are. One more for the road, Jazz fans. Irving commented on his relationship with LeBron James, briefly, saying he hadn't spoken to his superstar former teammate, but that a bond of brotherhood would always be there, despite Irving specifically asking to end their partnership. But lost in the bigger headlines and the wow moment of this new super team was a subtle indication of where the Celtics have transitioned to. Stevens was one of the first people Irving mentioned when saying why he was so excited to join Boston. The people that are here at this organization, the people that they have, Coach Stevens, I think I've kind of scratched the surface of what I can become, Hayward said. And I think being here with the city and the fans, it's really exciting to be here. Brad Stevens came into the league with unprecedented standing credit for a college coach who had never spent a day in the NBA. Almost immediately, there was a growing sense of his being something special in a profession in which coaches are often an afterthought. Other coaches credited him. Players made mention of what he brought. The team immediately began to outperform expectations. Some of the credit came as the cart before the horse. He never won a playoff series until just this past season, getting swept by the Cavaliers in 2015 and bounced by the Hawks in 2016. Even this year, the Celtics went down 2-0 to start the first round against Chicago and were dragged to 7 games versus Washington, and then were smacked into oblivion by the Cavaliers. Still, the feeling league-wide is that the Celtics overachieved last season because of Stevens, his system and his approach. In 2016, when Al Horford became the Celtics' first major free agency signing in decades, Stevens was discussed as a selling point, but there were a lot of factors. With Hayward, however, it's clear from both his comments in the press conference Friday and his Players Tribune announcement in July that Stevens played a heavy role in his decision. It was such a tough decision. But there was one person who I knew I could talk to about it from every angle, who I knew would give me the smartest and most honest perspective available, Coach Stevens. Coach Stevens was so great about it, all of it. He helped me lay out my options, and talked it through from both sides, but in the end, when I needed it, he also gave me my space. And he also let me know that it was my choice to make, and that he would be there for me, on the other side of it, either way. And of course I ended up deciding to leave. I declared for the draft, and got drafted, and started my new NBA life in Utah. But it always meant a lot to me, to know how, in that moment, even with our lives at this strange crossroads together, Coach Stevens was someone I could count on. Via Thank You, Utah, by Gordon Hayward. In many ways, if you want to look at the star power on the Celtics, you have to include Stevens. Stevens was used as a selling point to recruit Hayward and Horford, and to get assurances from Irving's camp he would be open to resigning with Boston in 2 years. Stevens' system preaches ball movement and flexibility, 2 things that Irving hasn't excelled at in Cleveland. That,